Hello and welcome to Module 3 in our program Passport to Progress. Today we are moving right along to our next destination, Madrid, Spain. And I'm so excited because today we are going to teach you how you can stand out above all the other consultants in your business. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. If you don't know me already, I'm Sam Thomas. I'm a mompreneur, a boy mom of 3 busy boys and a wife, and I am a leader within Pampered Chef. And I am super excited today to teach you how to build a consistent business by attracting, influencing, and enrolling. Today, specifically, we are going to focus on attracting, how to attract, where to attract, and knowing your offer. Okay, so let's get this party started. Okay, so you need to have leads and prospects to build your business. Okay, though you have to have people. Those are going to be the foundation of building a consistent business. Now, I like to take this moment to talk about the difference between leads and prospects. And leads are people that could potentially be part of your audience, be part of your target market, and prospects are those people who are very interested in enrolling and opting into whatever you have. And many network marketers like you guys or direct sellers struggle because they keep trying to attract the same people, the same leads, the same prospects, and it's often family and friends. And you go through this vicious cycle of just trying to sell to them. They often use ineffective attraction techniques. How many of you have ever just posted, hey guys, here's the host special for this month. Who wants to book a party on your Facebook page? Anybody? Anybody? I have. And a lot of times they're not aware of who they are attracting. I know that we've already talked about this, that a lot of times we think that our product is for everyone, but if you're talking with everybody, just like we talked in Module 1, you're talking to no one and you're missing out on an opportunity to connect with people who will really relate to you and what you have. And finally, many people struggle because they're not clear on their offer, which is their product or their solution. You're just kind of putting stuff out there in hopes that somebody might say, oh, I want to buy that. But you have to have a lot of clarity behind what you're offering and why. So let's talk about how we can do this. Attract, influence, enroll is pretty much going to be our motto moving forward. You need new leads and prospects to break out of that inner circle. And how do you get these guys? Is number 1, you need to attract them to you. Attraction makes them stop the scroll and get them interested in what you're offering. And get them to follow you if you're on social media. And then number 2, you want to influence them. You want to provide them with value and build relationships with them, right? The know, like, and trust factor, like we've talked about. And then enroll, get them to opt into your offer, whatever that is. So for you guys, it might be purchasing products. It might be hosting a party. It might be joining your team. But these are going to be the 3 steps that we use to get out of our inner circle. So let's start this week with attracting. Let's start attracting. Let's start standing out above the crowd. And before you start attracting, you need to know what your end goal is. What do you want them to opt into? What are you sharing? Are you wanting them to host parties or participate in events? Do you want them to buy your product? Or do you want them to join your team? Again, know your end goal before you start attracting. So what attracts people? What attracts some leads? What attracts people to you? Well, number 1 is sharing your experiences and your story. People want you to be authentic and vulnerable. They want to know you and not just a glorified version of yourself or a fake version of yourself that you think you should be. You can attract people by asking questions. Be curious about other people because people always want to know what's in it for them. They always want to talk about their needs and themselves. It's just part of human nature. So ask questions to get people involved and attracted and engaged. And then make bold statements. Now, guys, I don't mean like crazy bold statements that are going to be super controversial or have nothing to do with your product. But guys, you can put a fun spin on bold statements when you're posting, when you're hosting parties, doing some videos, as well as in your emails. And guys, when you're using attraction, you want them to all relate to your offer, whether your offer is parties, products, or the team. Now, where can we attract? Where can we attract? Well, number one obvious option is social media platforms. And I know many of you are out there and looking into this social selling opportunity, and it is there. But you don't just have to use it there, especially if you're just starting out on social media. You can attract within your current parties, within your current groups. And when you're out and about, talking with other people, sharing what you're seeing works and doesn't work, some solutions that you're seeing that work. It's kind of like if Target has this really great sale on, let's just say, shoes, or they have a really great sale on one of these big appliances. Are you going to keep that to yourself, or are you going to take a picture of that and share it with other people you know? Guys, you can share this stuff out and about in a tactful way and attract people that way. So let's talk about how we can attract. We can attract people by creating posts, creating stories and reels on Instagram and Facebook, creating videos to share within your current parties, on your personal profile, on other social media platforms, on YouTube. You can share recipes and tips and tools in your parties and really use bold statements and questions to attract people alongside sharing those. And then, of course, you can be authentic and not spammy, because that authenticity that I talked about earlier, and not being that same person that, posts the same marketing image as every other Pampered Chef consultant or every other consultant in your business, is not going to make you stand out. Being authentic will make you stand out. So let's talk about getting started with this. If you are not sure how to attract people to you, or you're just getting started or maybe rebooting, we want you to create your story, because honestly, facts tell and stories sell. So we are going to talk about crafting your reboot story, or if you're just getting started, crafting your introduction story. This is going to be useful on social media platforms as well as in your parties, whether that be virtual or in person. And to craft your story, you're going to want to share something personal. You're going to want to share your name. You're going to want to share maybe where you're from, or if you have family. So you guys see at the beginning of every module, I have said, hey guys, I'm Sam Thomas, a mompreneur, a boy mom of 3 busy boys, and that I am a leader within Pampered Chef. Okay, those are all personal things to me. Then you want to share your story of struggle. What problem did you have before joining your business or being introduced to the products that you're offering? Think about it. What finally made you opt in? What happened or didn't happen? What stands out in your mind when you think back to that? And you guys, you got to dig down. How did it make you feel? Here's an example. I remember when I was a young, busy mom working a full-time job, would get home after a long day's work and always open the fridge and say, what is for dinner tonight? What am I going to make? Okay. I was exhausted. The baby was crying in the background, and all I wanted to do is sit down for the evening. It was to the point where I was in tears some nights and would turn to takeout or, processed foods that I didn't really want to be eating. It made me feel even worse. And then I discovered Pampered Chef. I discovered some awesome tools and recipes that helped me prepare meals faster and give me ideas for freezer meals for those nights when I was exhausted. And I could just pull them out of the freezer and pop them in and enjoy that time with my family, enjoy that time taking a minute to rest. So I kind of went in from my story of struggle to share my story of triumph right there, guys. I told you what happened next. I joined Pampered Chef. I learned about tools and tips. I found out about freezer meals, and it helped me to make dinner quick. And so you're going to share that story of struggle, and then you're going to share that story of triumph, whatever it is. Maybe it was one tool, maybe it was the mix and chop, maybe it was the rock crock. I'm not sure, but you want to share that. And then you are going to express gratitude and intention to help others. Okay. Guys, I love sharing tools, tips, and resources with other busy moms out there who need to get dinner on the table quick so they can focus on the moments that matter. So make sure you stay tuned for some of these tips to hopefully help your family. Okay, so I just shared my intentions of helping others and why I want to help others. Okay, so again, this might be your introduction story. It might be a post inside one of your parties. It might be something you post right on your Facebook now because you're getting started, or your Instagram. It might be something that you use to introduce yourself at an in-person party or a workshop. Okay, so remember, facts tell, but stories sell. And you're going to be crafting your story this week. Now, many of you may have been on social media for a while, or maybe doing parties and have followers already, and you might have been a spammy Sammy like myself, where maybe for a while you've been deterring people instead of attracting people. And guys, it's time to take ownership over that. It is time to apologize to people, because you do what you know until you know better. Okay. So we're going to talk about creating an apology and then sharing your true story, just like we did. So if this is something that you've had happen to yourself, if you've sat there and maybe been really spammy Sammy, or maybe you have been totally obsolete from your business, you've just like left and your customers don't know where you are, you haven't talked to them, etc. I think that this is a great way that you can move forward. So here's some examples of apology posts, if this is where you're at, that you might want to craft. Okay, guys, my apologies to all my Facebook friends, family, and everyone. If you're not into natural health and wellness supplements or products, for us, it would be if you're not into cooking recipes and tools and partying with me, I'm sure my profile has been a shocker for you. Well, for the past few years, I've been struggling to make healthy meals, to get dinner on the table fast, whatever you want to put in, due to stress from work and not having time freedom. Then I found this company that I'm now a part of. And I decided to just aggressively share the products with family and friends because I was so excited. I was excited to share it with them who are also maybe having mealtime struggle issues. And I also was getting a little extra income. But there's a problem with that, because now I realize that not everyone was interested. Yikes, that was my bad, which is totally cool. You do you, my friend. Boy, oh boy, did I learn something from that. Instead of getting everyone I know by text, instead of hitting them up by text or messenger or whatever, I've done a lot of research and I'm starting to learn a ton about blah, 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 recipes, resources, tools, mealtime. And I'll be focusing on sharing that message with anyone who's curious. I'll be sharing some extra information here on my personal profile, in my stories, on my social media outlets. And we'll be doing live webinars and some events, workshops, parties, to share what I'm discovering. If you want the details on healthy mealtime, if you want the details on quick dinners, if you want the details on fast recipes, on avoiding takeout, whatever your target market wants, guys, is what you're going to input in here. Drop let's rock, let's cook, let's prep in the comment, and I'll be in touch via messenger. Okay. P.S. I'll still be posting cool updates about my family, trips, pets. Be prepared. If you're not a fan of cooking and recipe tips, then you may not want to tune into my live streams, but check them out if you are, for those who are interested. Okay, that's kind of a rough thing. Again, I'm taking a health and wellness apology post and putting it into our cooking apology posts. The next one is, I owe you an apology. I'm serious. I need to ask your pardon. If you're not on a health and wellness journey, if you're not on a cooking journey, if you're not on a healthy eating journey, or you don't have interest in building an income online, well, then my profile must have been a shocker to you. Let me explain. You see, for the past 16 months, for the past 7 years, I've been super curious about learning how to prep healthy meals, learning how to get dinner on the table quick for my family, learning how to use versatile tools. And I built up a strategy that has helped my family. That strategy included having some amazing parties and sharing amazing tools with people in my journey. And while I've seen lots of results, this has been a little bit aggressive in how I've shared, and I may have done tons of posts and sent you tons of messages, and I am so sorry. So if you're reading this and that is you, I'm sorry. And that's totally cool, my friend, if that is not something you need. But here's what I've discovered. Instead of getting everyone I know to go through my posts or to hit them up in private message, I'm doing something different. I've done my own research and I have my own learning experiences of what works and what doesn't work about special eating habits, supplements, cooking, meal prep, etc. Again, these are weight loss things, guys, but relate them back to your target audience. And I don't just believe, I know that if I can do this, so can you. And that's the message that I'll be focusing on and sharing with anyone else who also might be curious. So what? I'll be sharing some extra information here on my social media profile, and I'll also share some special trainings, offers, other nuggets of information that you might find valuable, all from what I'm discovering with my products. I've learned that it's super impactful to share value, and I'm learning before digging into products I love, and I'm learning before digging into the products that I love and have helped crush my goals in the kitchen. If you want the details, go ahead and drop "let's eat, let's prep" in the comments, and I'll be in touch via messenger. Okay, so guys, again, these are really around health and wellness, but take a screenshot of this and insert what your target market is, insert what your product is, and be authentic about what you have done. You know, if you've been that spammy Sammy that has sent messages to everybody and not followed up because you forgot about it, or if you've messaged everybody and you're getting no responses, even with messaging 3 times, you know, it might be that they're just not interested in what you have to offer. And that's okay. That's okay. But let's move forward and teach how to attract people and how to have those relationships in Messenger and make them authentic. So today, your problem set, okay? Decide, what is your end goal? What product or service are you offering? Is it the hosting opportunity? Is it that you want people to buy? You want to be a social seller? Are you wanting people to join your team? Maybe you have a few that you want to offer, but let's pick one to focus on right now. Okay, one to focus on right now. I want you to craft your story or your intro. Okay, if you've been in the business for a while, maybe your reboot post. Maybe you need to craft an apology post, or maybe even an apology email. Okay, these are going to be the problem sets we're going to focus on today. And next week, we are then going to get into creating content and to use in your parties, on your social media, and while out and about to attract people to you. Okay, we're going to get into really specific content on how to attract people to you. So hopefully this will help you get started on rebranding your social media, rebranding yourself as a consultant in your parties, and rebranding yourself, generally speaking, of how you're going to do business moving forward. Again, guys, I want to reiterate, if you are messaging and you're creating those relationships, I want you to continue doing that. I don't want you to say, oh, I can't message people anymore because it's spammy. That's not the case. I'm talking about those fake messages that you copy and paste and you don't follow up with and you don't build a relationship with, okay, that are outside of your parties or to try to get parties. Here, I am trying to get you to attract people and learn how to create those relationships, that know, like, and trust factor. So it's not so hard for you. So you're not stuck with your family and friends. And so you're attracting new leads and new prospects to keep your business moving consistently. I can't wait to see what you guys are crafting. Make sure that you post your problem set in the training hub so you guys get your passport stamp credit. And we can also help you tweak your story. So don't quite post it yet on your social media. Get a picture ready, get your post ready, but we'll help you tweak it so you know how you can make it better to use within your parties, on your social media, in your email, and when out and about. Okay, guys, let's get standing out above the crowd, and I can't wait to see what you have to offer. Have a great one. Until next time, enjoy your stop in Madrid.